You have a very fine fortress, my lord.
I'm glad you think so.
You don't?
To be honest, I'd much prefer to go back to Kuttenberg. Life in a fortress isn't ideal for a man with my experience.
And with your fortune.
Bloody war's all we need. It gets worryingly smaller every day, Lord Jobst.
Hardly surprising if you're putting up the margrave here.
I'm sorry.
My apologies, but we've already eaten, and I wasn't expecting more guests. I wouldn't want to give the impression that I'm feeding you with leftovers.
Not to worry, Sir Peter. The leftovers from the Margrave's table are still a banquet for us. For me, at least. But I'm just a village girl.
I wouldn't have thought it, good wife.
Oh, you would, sir. But don't concern yourself. I don't mind it.
The last few weeks we've been sharing dry bread and stewed peas with a horde of dirty warriors. I seriously doubt that the fare you offer could offend us.
I understand. Eat whatever takes your fancy, my friends. You look like you've had a hard journey.
Ah, the journey wasn't so bad, especially compared to what came before it.
Where are you coming from, anyway?
From Trusky.
That's Sir Otto von Burgo's domain. What were you doing there, pray tell?
We were in a castle cellar, talking to an old acquaintance.
My God, how did that happen?
Simple. I'm in the service of Lord Sokol of Lamberg, same as Dry Devil, and I had a job to do around Trusky, if you get my meaning.
Absolutely. But it wasn't much of a success, was it?
Actually, it was pretty much. We even took a castle.
Well, more like a small stronghold.
And we nearly got von Berghoff, too.
And what prevented you from completing that righteous deed?
Actually, it's a little bit my fault.
What are you saying, boy?
Me and my lords were sent to negotiate an alliance with von Berghoff. But that snake was using us the whole time to do his dirty work. He pretended he was willing to cross over to the side of Wenceslas. But instead, he sent us to fight against the king's allies.
And if that wasn't enough, von Orlitz and the Prague militia joined with him.
But why would the Praguers send forces to Trusky?
Ah, but they didn't, sir. They weren't sent to Trusky, but here. They just stopped off to visit von Berghoff because he was in a tight situation, and they took him along with them.
Here? To my fortress? Christ almighty.
Not just here, but everywhere where King Wenceslas still has supporters.
And that's also one of the reasons why we're here. We came to warn you. It seems Sigismund's run out of patience. He's going to break the truce and finish off the rebellion while he still has time. So he's convened all his followers in Kuttenberg with von Berghoff and von Orlitz in the lead. It's just a matter of time before the battles begin.
We've got to secure the fortress quickly, stock up on supplies, reinforce the guard and drill the troops. But I'm grateful to you, friends. Wait here. I'll have the best wine I have brought to you. Bring that red from Burgundy right away.
You might want to save some for Jobst.
I'll gladly risk his displeasure for this occasion.
It seems we both have the same opinion of Jobst, eh?
Well, that is, I wouldn't dream of disrespecting the Margrave. Where do you know him from?
I don't really know him as such. We merely know each other due to my original trade.
Yes, I've heard of you. They say you used to be, well...
Yes, a bandit. It's no secret, sir. King Wenceslas even put a price on my head once. And Catherine here, she...
I'm sure that's of no interest to the noble gentleman. And anyway, if anyone knows Jobst well, it's Henry here. You two are quite on friendly terms, aren't you?
Well, we only met once, in fact, when he came to see Lord Hanush in Rattay.
Anyway, we're straying a little from the point. As I said, one of the reasons we came here is to warn you. And the other reason goes by the name of Hinek, the Dry Devil. Where is he?
Well, he was here for a while, at my invitation.
Was here? So he's gone?
Where did he go?
I couldn't say. He didn't part quite on the best of terms.
That's quite normal for him. Don't take it to heart, sir.
I had no issue with him. It's more about Margrave Jobst. When he met Hinek, he was somewhat disturbed.
I can't say I'm surprised. They quarreled, did they?
Let's just say that after an exchange of opinions, they agreed it would be best if they saw as little of each other as possible. I'm sure if you're interested in the details, the Margrave will explain it to you himself.
I'd be very surprised.
What do you think about all of this, sir? Sigismund, Wenceslas, Jobst?
What kind of question is that? Do you doubt my loyalty to our king?
No, that's not how I meant it.
Henry here sometimes forgets to weigh his words, sir.
That's all right. To be frank, we all know that King Wenceslas isn't the great man his father Charles was. But that is the way of the world. History is full of kings who didn't know how to wear the crown. The blood running in their veins is more important than what's in their heads. He's not a capable ruler. What of it? In my opinion, kingship is above all a guarantee of divine peace. A sovereign's greatest asset is his legitimacy.
But what if the sovereign is truly bad? If he's mad, say?
I'll put it this way. Nobody lives forever, lad.
Least of all bad kings. Isn't that right, sir?
So, what about us? What do we do now?
The Margrave will certainly want to talk to you, but the earliest he'll be back at the fortress will be tomorrow. I hope until then, you won't refuse my offer of a bed for the night.
Just an offer. So you'd let us leave if we wanted to.
Well, the Margrave did ask me to look after you until he returns, for the sake of security.
Whose security?
Good question. Yours, I expect.
So be it. I couldn't take another step anyway.
Sir, there's still one more thing we came for. Lord von Burgov is holding my lord, Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein, hostage. And we also have to warn Jobst's ally, John of Liechtenstein. Do you know anything about those two?
Sorry, I don't. I didn't even know von Burgau had come here until you told me. And I've heard nothing about Lord Liechtenstein.
Which is actually good news. If he'd been caught and executed, the word would be all over the region. So there's a strong hope he's alive.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Lord Pisek.
It's the least I could do, lad. My fortress is open to all the king's supporters, even if that does make it a bit crammed.
I suppose I ought to get to bed. Where can I sleep, sir?
I had some chambers prepared for all of you. Yours is right here in the palace. Cross that corridor and go up the stairs. You can't miss it. There's a garland above the door. But first, eat your fill, all of you. And maybe you'd like to bathe before going to bed. I told my servant Susanna to prepare baths for you. The baths are in the little house in the courtyard. right next to the well.
I suppose
I had to cross that, but first, I told my...
I could go for something to eat now. When's the last time I ate something?
God be with you.
Now you're in trouble.
Lord Pisek said we could have...
Yes, sir.
I could get used to this.
If sir will allow.
So you got your revenge? Father, did it make you feel any better? It did. So what comes next?
Mark von Aulitz is next. Then von Berghoff.
And is that what you really want, son? No matter how many people you kill, you can't change what's happened.
It's what I want.
Are you sure, Henry?
What's happening? Why are you waking me up? You again?
Yes, the margrave is calling for you, sir. You and the other gent.
You mean Zizka?
I suppose. I don't know what his name is, but he's waiting down in the courtyard. I'm just on my way to tend to his wounds.
And what about Catherine?
That's the good wife who arrived with you? I don't know. I think I saw her with our captain.
Oh, very well. I'll go now.
Before you go, I brought you something for breakfast. In case you're hungry. Oh, have I been too bold?
No, definitely not. Thank you. Do you need anything else?
No, sir.
So, why are you standing here?
You haven't dismissed me, sir.
I'm not a nobleman. You don't have to stand on ceremony with me.
I do, since you're a guest of the Margrave, sir. May I leave?
That is... yes, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Day.
And with you?
See, meine Dame, we aren't idle here. My men train like that every day.
Admirable. If Sigismund and his army happened to turn up, you'd have 2 warriors. Lo, the worth Henry of Skalitz. I'm just holding a discussion with the captain here about his desolate fortress.
That's not how I'd put it. In the end, as mein Großvater said, the strength of a castle is measured by its garrison, and mine is one of the best in the region. What do you say, lad? Am I right?
Not like that, for fuck's sake.
Aye. I have to admit, the soldiers here look pretty fearsome. I wouldn't want to come up against them in battle.
I get the feeling you'd run instead of facing them, though. Hey?
Leave him be, meine Dame. Nobody with any sense would take on my men.
Why did you come here anyway, Henry?
I have to find Zizka. The margrave is expecting us.
You should get a move on. You don't want to keep a man of his stature waiting. I saw Zizka next to the stables. There was some girl hanging around him.
Not like that, for fuck's sake.
And this smell, it's strange, cooked, like a letter from a fancy book.
This. I fell off the battlements at Laxenburg Castle.
Lord above! From the wolves! And were you conquering or defending that castle, sir?
I'm sorry.
Well, depends on how you look at it. We were...
How are things, Captain?
What do you think? I've seen better days. And you, youngster?
Not so great. I'm feeling pretty battered.
Just wait until you've been through as much as I have.
Don't say that. You still have your strength. A real man of iron.
A damned rusty one, I'd say. But enough chat. I see Jobst has returned to the fortress.
That's why I'm here. They're expecting us. I wanted to take Catherine along too, but she said she'd rather get the horses ready.
She's doing the right thing, and you better run ahead and greet the margrave. I'll join you shortly.
What about that dry devil of yours?
No, nobody asked him where he was going, but it seemed... I'm not surprised. If I know him, he wasn't the idea.
At least Jobst might know where he is.
He might.
I'll be going then.
Thank you, and a good day to you, friend.
Henry. Where's Captain Zizka?
He got held up.
I received a report that von Bergov's banner is flying in the camp of my dear cousin Sigismund, so I assume the negotiations at Trotsky didn't go too smoothly.
No, sir. I don't have good news for you, I'm afraid.
Well, good or bad, I'm sure you have plenty to report. So what happened with von Bergov at Trotsky?
Bergov had no interest in our message. By the time we finally arrived at Trotsky, he'd already long since made a deal with Sigismund. But of course, he didn't tell Sir Hans and me anything. And on top of that, he used us to do his dirty work. Everything went to hell in the end, and we ended up in a dungeon. Or at least I did. They took Lord Capon away. In fact, that's why we're here. We were following von Bergov's trail.
So I've heard. But I'd be interested to know the details. It's been some time since our meeting in Ratai, and now you appear here by the side of a quite unexpected guest.
Well, it wasn't the best circumstances to meet Zizka in. They said we crossed swords. I can only thank God we didn't kill each other. I have no idea, sir.
That's a pity. I would be very keen to know. Enough about Zizka. I also heard something about a pillory.
It was nothing really. Just a bit of trouble on the way.
You regard the pillory as just a bit of trouble. In any case, are you sure there's nothing else you want to tell me?
Well, you should probably know that Istvan Toth was working for von Bergov.
Who's he?
One of Sigismund's cronies. He was causing havoc around Ratai.
Ah, yes. Hanush and Rad...
They had to. They gave him their word.
Yes. Well, it's actually...
Well, no one let him go this time. He's dead.
Very good. From what I've heard, he was a And do you want to tell me anything else? Besides about Toth?
That's all that happened, sir.
Truly. My court messenger and bearer of tidings, both good and bad. By the way, you said you were in von Bergov's. Tell me, did you reveal anything?
Well, unfortunately, they got certain information out of me.
What information?
About Liechtenstein. That he's in Kuttenberg. And what he's doing there. I'm really sorry, sir, but... well, they tortured us.
That is truly unfortunate. But you've nothing to be ashamed of. I think it's too much to expect anyone to hold their tongue under torture.
But Lord Liechtenstein... what if they killed him because of us?
John went straight into the lion's den. He knew the risks. Thank you for the news. You're free to go if you want. But I would be glad if you stayed at the fortress. As soon as it's possible, you can join a legation heading for Rattay. I'm sure you already want to go home.
What? Go home? I can't. I have to rescue Sir Hans. I made a promise I'd protect him.
A noble thought. But you mustn't worry about Lord Capon. I'm sure von Berghoff has him trapped in a gilded cage.
But I made a promise, sir.
I understand, but honestly, Lord Capon is now safer than you or I. The most sensible course now is to wait for the ransom demand.
Margrave.
Ah, Captain Zizka. Henry and I were just discussing Lord Capon.
Yeah, the Margrave thinks he's in no danger, and we should wait for a ransom demand.
As one does.
I wanted to talk to you about something else. I suppose you're wondering why your friend Hinnek, also known as the Dried Devil, isn't here?
Oh, there's plenty of gossip going on around the fortress. You and Pisek refused to grant him asylum.
Asylum is for those in distress, Captain. Hinnek came to burn and pillage. I have quite different plans.
Oh. And what might those be, Margrave? Sitting and talking while King Wenceslas rots in a dungeon. What would I expect? Not so long ago, you were conspiring with Sigismund against Prokop, your own brother.
It would be futile trying to explain to you the intricacies of the Luxembourg's dynastic politics. Let me just explain that that was what was called for in the situation. But I assure you that I am now acting in the best interests of this country and of King Wenceslas.
You're acting first and foremost in your own interests. Everyone knows that.
Strong words coming from a man who earns his bread by killing merchants on the road. No offense intended. I applaud your art. The pen is mightier than the sword, but there are times when it's vice versa. Enter!
All ready to leave now, sir?
Good. It's high time. I expect the captain was about to leave anyway. Are you not?
With pleasure.
And you, Henry?
Me? Well, sir, I made a promise.
I understand. I won't attempt to keep you here by force. But bear in mind, I have concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund, which gives us time to get ready. And if anyone should disrupt my plans with headstrong acts of violence, there will be consequences. Grave consequences. I consider this matter closed. Farewell and good luck.
I get the feeling Jobst didn't make a great impression on you. Are we leaving?
Yeah. And Henry's going with us.
Wait, you'll help me find Capon?
Sure. But we'll need people for that. And information. Catherine, I've got a job for you.
Yes?
Go to Kuttenberg. Find out what happened to Liechtenstein. If anyone knows what's going on in this godforsaken country, it'll be him. In the meantime, we'll go and find Dry Devil and his band.
Good luck. I'd go all the way to Rome to spy if it kept me away from the devil.
Let's go.